Have you ever heard of Schrödinger's cat? Because it might completely change how you think about reality, and it's actually one of the most famous thought experiments in all of science and philosophy. So here's the setup. Imagine you put a cat inside a sealed box, and inside that box, there's also a small device that has a 50-50 chance of releasing poison within the next minute. This means that if the device goes off, the cat dies, but if it doesn't, the cat stays alive. Okay, now here's where things get really strange, because according to quantum physics, before you open the box, the cat isn't just alive or dead, but it's actually in this weird in-between state where it's technically both alive and dead at the same time. Okay, now wait, this sounds impossible, right? So how does this even make sense? Well, to explain, this idea actually comes from what we discovered about experiments with tiny particles like electrons and photons. So when scientists study them, they found that if no one's watching, these particles don't behave like normal little objects. They actually act like they're in multiple places or states at once, almost like they're exploring every possibility at the same time. But the moment someone measures or observes them, they instantly quote-unquote collapse into one clear outcome, like reality finally locking in on one version of events. And that's the part that people struggle to take in, because if something like this is happening with particles, then what happens if you scale that up to something bigger, like a cat? Which this is exactly what leads us to Schrödinger's cat, because the cat in the box story isn't meant to prove anything, but it's just meant to show how strange quantum theory sounds when you apply it to everyday objects. Like the idea that a cat can be both alive and dead when no one's watching, and then only quote-unquote decide once we finally see it, aren't actually believed by scientists. However, it does point something interesting about our reality, so what do you think?